Can you believe it? After more than 50 years, we are finally going back to the moon. But you know, that incredible journey to the stars, it really begins long before liftoff, in these quiet, intensely human moments right here on the ground. So today, we're going to take you inside the final, crucial hours of preparation for the Artemis II crew's historic flight.
You know, to really get what this mission is all about, you have to start with the commander, Reed Wiseman. See, for him, the moon is so much more than just a destination, a rock in the sky. It's a connection. It's that one thing we can all look up and see, and it just ties us all together. And really, it's that sense of connection that's powering this whole journey.
So what is Artemis II exactly? Well, it's a 10-day mission, and its whole purpose is to push this Orion spacecraft to its absolute limits, but this time with people on board. Now they're not going to land, not this time, but they will fly around the far side of the moon, traveling farther from our planet than anyone in history. You can kind of think of it as the final full-scale dress rehearsal before we put boots back on the lunar dust.
Okay, so let's dive into the day itself. We're going to start with something really personal, the rituals. These are the traditions, some old, some new, that keep the astronauts grounded in those last few hours before they literally leave the planet.
Believe it or not, it all kicks off with a simple card game. It's a little bit of fun, a way to keep things light, and maybe ward off any bad luck. Then, things get serious. It's time to suit up. This is an incredibly meticulous process, with technicians who know every single stitch of these suits doing their final checks. And then comes the really tough part. A last wave to family. Kisses blown through a fence, a final, quiet, I love you, before turning to face history.
And that's just it, right? Inside those incredibly complex suits are real people, people who face down their own huge challenges. The pilot, Victor Glover, he talks openly about his biggest fear being self-doubt. It's just a powerful reminder that this grand journey to the stars is really built on a foundation of personal strength.
Okay, so goodbyes are done, the crew is ready, and now it's time for the next part of this launch day ritual, that iconic 9-mile ride to the launch pad, a journey that is absolutely soaked in history. And get this, as they head out to their ride, they walk through the exact same doors as the legends of Apollo. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, they all walked this path. I mean, talk about a symbolic bridge, a physical link connecting the pioneers who first touched the moon with the generation that's finally going back.
So what's their ride? It's the famous Astrovan, a modified Airstream that carries on a tradition from the space shuttle days. Inside, it's surprisingly chill. Just a 20-minute ride, they're playing movies like Top Gun to get pumped up. But outside, wow, it's a whole different story. The route is lined with thousands of NASA employees and their families, all out there cheering for their colleagues, their friends, their heroes.
And that Airstream has its own cool piece of history, too. Back in the Apollo era, a similar Airstream trailer was used as a quarantine facility after the astronauts got back from the moon. So back then, the Airstream was for after they returned. Today, it's what takes them to the rocket. It's this perfect little symbol of how the past literally carries us into the future.
All right, the ride is over. The Astrovan door opens, and everything changes. That human scale we've been talking about, it just evaporates. Because now they're face-to-face with the beast that will carry them off this planet, the Space Launch System.
Okay, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this thing. We're talking 322 feet tall.
It's packing an absolutely mind-boggling 8.8 million pounds of thrust for liftoff.
And to do that, it's filled with 735,000 gallons of super-cooled liquid fuel. It's hands down the most powerful rocket NASA has ever built. The numbers are just staggering.
So to give you an idea of what that height actually looks like, the SLS rocket, with the Orion capsule perched right on top, is actually taller than the Statue of Liberty. This isn't just a vehicle, it's a skyscraper ready to punch a hole in the sky.
But here's the wild part. You have this massive, massive rocket, and at the very top of it all, you've got the Orion capsule. That's their home for 10 days. And the living space inside, it's about the size of a big tent. It's just a crazy contrast, and a real reminder of the tight quarters and intense teamwork this kind of mission demands.
So, we're at the final stage before the main event. It's time to board. The crew heads up that launch tower, taking those last, deliberate steps before they're sealed inside, totally cut off from the world they're about to leave behind.
This final hour is like a perfectly choreographed dance. The crew gets to the historic Pad 39B,
They take an elevator 274 feet straight up. They walk across the access arm into what's called the White Room, right at the capsule's doorway. One by one, they climb inside. And then, that's it. The hatch closes, it's sealed, and the final separation from Earth has begun.
You know, as that hatch is being sealed, you can't help but think of this quote from mission specialist Christina Koch. The whole thing, the rocket, the mission, everything, is living proof of what she's saying. It's what humanity can do when we decide to work together to achieve something that seems totally impossible.
And you can tell the crew is thinking about that massive team on the ground because they actually gave their Orion capsule a name to honor them: integrity. It's their way of saying thank you, a tribute to the thousands of people whose professionalism and hard work made this whole thing possible.
So, at the end of the day, what's the point of all this? Well, NASA's leadership put it perfectly. Look, a mission like this isn't going to solve all our problems down here on Earth, but it is, without a doubt, a huge contribution in the positive column. It's a real, tangible example of what we can do when we aim high and work together.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? As we watch this crew get ready to loop around the moon, proving we can go back to deep space, it makes you wonder, what's next? After this, what's humanity's next giant leap?